whether they want to see this kind of as a whole, like what California does affects Texas or vice versa, whether that affects Indiana, whether it's a big ripple effect, or they really see them as individual, discrete issues, and that remains to be seen.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with magazine editor David Mark. David, we've been talking about redistricting for a few weeks now, but Republicans who sort of started at least the mid-decade redistricting fight suffered some setbacks in court this week, didn't they?
Right, and it was where this fight started in Texas, where this was the state that the Trump White House leaned on to redo their maps, which had just been adopted a couple election cycles ago after the 2020 census, with the intent of Republicans gaining 5 seats there in a bid to hold on to the Republican House majority. A 3-judge federal court panel struck that down, saying that race issues were improperly used here because of a bunch of jargon, technicality. I won't get into the weeds. The appeal, which has already been filed, goes straight to the Supreme Court. So we should know in the next couple weeks or so whether this is going to fly or not. But it's possible Republicans don't get their big pickups through Texas, while Democrats almost certainly do in California, which, of course, they retaliated for by passing their own ballot initiative to change the law.
So without getting too into the weeds, like you mentioned, this 3-judge panel decided that the Texas map represented an illegal racial gerrymander. And that's the exact argument that the Trump DOJ is using in its legal challenge that it joined with California Republicans against the California map.
Right.
Do you think, from a technical standpoint, do you think that argument is liable to be successful? And then just from a public perception standpoint, what do you think it says about public trust in the system if one map gets struck down in courts and the other doesn't, when they're both fundamentally doing the same thing?
I think in terms of public opinion, I think we're at the point where people see it as it's one team against another. It's basically a political knife fight, gunfight, pick your analogy, and either side's going to do what they have to do. And basically, no side really is wearing a white hat here. No side really has a lot of moral authority when it comes down to it. You could argue this Democrats or Republicans shouldn't have changed this map in one state or another, but people are pretty cynical about it. It'll be interesting to see what happens in court, whether this reaches the Supreme Court or not. They're sort of filed under different statutes, so as a non-lawyer, I'm loath to make too many predictions on that front, but we should know this in the next couple months or so.
Yeah, we're now less than a year before the midterm elections, and filing deadlines are coming up in Texas. Is it just, even if the maps end up, being ruled constitutional or whatever, are we just out of time here?
Well, and that's probably the most likely outcome here, is the courts just say, we are bumping up against filing deadlines, we're coming into election season, let's just push this off till the 2028 election cycle or thereafter. The big question is whether they want to see this kind of as a whole, like what California does affects Texas or vice versa, whether that affects Indiana, whether it's a big ripple effect, or they really see them as individual, discrete issues, and that remains to be seen.
Well, David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You can get more from David and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.